Hi all you cinephiles out there, and welcome to Week Old Cinema Roll, the show where we take obscure, underachieving, or overrated movies and try and see the icing within. Can I get a donut or something? I'm hungry now. Today, we're covering Hunt for the Wilderpeople, a New Zealand-made film, and the highest-grossing one of all time to come out of that country, I might add. This film is based on the Barry Crump book, Wild Pork and Watercress. We're talking about the movie here. Note, spoilers are to follow as this is a movie review. I'll be honest, I didn't really know New Zealand-made movies were a thing outside of Lord of the Rings, and that's not even made by New Zealand, it was just shot there. The movie begins with pudgy city boy, Ricky Baker, taken by foster care to farmers known as Aunt Bella and Uncle Hector or Heck. This opening scene made me think it was going to be one of those fish-out-of-water movies where Rick doesn't adapt to the country right away and comedy ensues when he tries to learn the tricks of the trade. I thought it was going to be at least one scene of this. You want me to do what now? But that's not where the comedy comes from. Early on, Aunt Bella suddenly dies. The audience isn't told why, we just see Uncle Heck crying over her body, which causes foster care to, for some reason, want to come and pick up Ricky. The duo of Ricky and Heck then take to the nearby bush, that's the woods for you Americans out there, and survive and run from the authorities, calling themselves Wilderpeople because this is a movie and we need a plot. This MacGuffin kind of annoyed me. In almost every adoption scenario I've heard of, both parents have to be seen as capable parties in order to foster a child. Is it different in New Zealand? If that's the case, then that's something that the good old USA has over New Zealand. Had this been the feel-good comedy of the year, it would have been about the two trying to make space for each other in a situation they weren't used to. Guest starring Rob Schneider as the crazy neighbor, rated PG-13. On the other end of things, Heck and Ricky are chased through the whole movie by overzealous foster care personnel, which were both a blessing and a curse to the movie. This movie had a tiny buddy cop movie inside of it, except they both sucked at their jobs. Played by the hilarious Rachel House and Oscar Knightley, House's character cares a little too much about capturing Ricky and Heck, the latter of whom is pegged as a child molester by the authorities. It's funny to see a chase between two parties when it's obvious that one of them is not doing it because it's their job, but because they've been chasing them for too long and they can't give up now. It's the same feeling you get when you've been passed over for a promotion 3 times and now you're applying for it out of spite. This movie got 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is the same score as The Godfather. Rotten Tomatoes is a hard crowd to please, and this movie managed to tie with arguably one of the greatest movies of all time. Is it worth the hype? Maybe. In my opinion, the story itself is slightly flawed from a writing standpoint. But from a film perspective, it definitely earns its stripes through hilarious dialogue and irony, and a couple of touching scenes to those who have seen The Revenant. Get ready for a couple parallels. I would definitely recommend going to see this movie if you've ever been a teenager who thinks they could take on the world by themselves and learn that you couldn't very quickly, because it will give you that cringy nostalgia we all secretly crave. So that's all for this week's episode of Cinema Roll. Be sure to drop us a like or a comment. You can also feel free to tweet us at Westside Today or at Atlas Novack with questions or movies you want us to review. I'm always looking for new stuff. Have a good one.